Hi, this is Mr. Quinn, and we are going to be talking about how to use the Diigo app that we downloaded in our last class. So if you've done it correctly, you should see in your bookmarks bar this Diigo icon. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. And if I've done it correctly, you'll see that a highlight function, a bookmark option, a sticky note option, a read later, a share, and just the Diigo icon altogether. And Go Premium as well. We're going to ignore the Go Premium. We're also going to ignore the read later for today, but the rest of the icons we should be using. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go into the bookmark bar, and you're going to see options to bookmark sites that you're going to come across. So you'll see procon.org for the URL, the title. You can make your bookmark private. You can make it public, whatever you may choose. If you'd like to add a description to help you remember what you were talking about or what you were reading about or what was important, you can add a description. If you'd like to save it for future research, you can tag it with some themes that you've come up. There are some recommended themes that you can come up that you'll see down at the bottom. Tag all that apply. But the first thing I want you to do once you open up your Diigo and then your bookmark options, I want you to go to Add a List. And I want you to scroll down to Create a List and open that up. What you're going to do is you're going to create a new list so that you can organize your research for the debates. All right. So you'll give it a title. I'll say Debate Prep. And since you have different topics, I'm going to do a completely separate one. I'm going to do death penalty. I would say you can either make it public or private. For your purposes, you can keep it private. Since I'm going to be sharing, I'm going to make mine public. We're going to give it a category. Look for education. If they don't have it, you can just put in government and politics, no keywords, and then create the list. All right. And then we'll talk to you a little bit about what your list will look like. And how to add bookmarks to your list. You'll click the bookmark link. Add bookmarks by clicking bookmark on the bookmark tool. You'll go to step 2, select which list to add it to. And then once you're done, you'll have access to all this information. You'll see that I've made a couple different bookmark lists myself, but the debate prep death penalty is the one that I'll be using. And you can use this tool for any class, not just your history class. All right, so let's put the tool to work. I'm going to close out of this browser. I'm going to go to procon.org, the website that we're going to be using. Just a reminder, folks, that you can only use Procon sources once for the remaining posts. So one post can have Procon sources, the rest must have sources outside of Procon. All right, but you're still going to use the same properties and the same things that I show you to keep your sources together. So I scroll through Procon, and I'm just going to get it started here, and I'm going to find the death penalty, which is right here, and I'm going to begin my research. Okay, and I'm just going to assume, for the sake of the argument, that I am against the death penalty. You can start in any of these social issues, but just for the sake of expedience, and I wouldn't want you to do this necessarily for your own research, but just to show you how the Diigo works, I'm going to click on Top 10 Pros and Cons. All right. Now you'll notice that it's organized into 10 different categories here. I'm going to pick the cost of death versus life imprisonment, just for the sake of example. And since I'm on the con side, the con says, in the course of the work, I believe I have renewed every state and federal study of the costs of the death penalty in the past 25 years. One element is common to all these studies. They concluded that the cost of the death penalty amounts to a net expense to the state and to the taxpayers. Or to put it differently, the death penalty is clearly more expensive than a system handling similar cases with a lesser punishment. Well, I think that's pretty important if I'm going to argue against the death penalty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, use the highlight function, and I'm going to highlight this area of the text stating that this person has reviewed every state and federal study, and he's found that the cost for housing an inmate is actually less than putting one to death. All right, and then I want to make sure that I highlight this person. All right, and this person has both a master's and a law degree. If you see a JD, it's a law degree, and he is the executive director of the Death Penalty Information Center. Testimony to the committee of the Colorado State House of Representatives regarding House Bill 1094, the cost of death penalty and related issues. Right. So this, to me, if this person is a reliable source, he's obviously studied the matter and he's in an executive position. All right. So I'd put a sticky note to myself. This is a good source for my con argument. I may want to check the bias of this individual because I'm not sure if he might be working for an organization that really is anti-death penalty. Now, the name of the organization sounds pretty neutral. You know, Executive Director of the Death Penalty Information Center. All right, check this. I may want to check the bias of the individual because he may not be fully objective. This website could also be good for my future research. So just because I pulled from Procon now doesn't mean that there aren't other articles there. And then I'm going to make that private. Let me see if I can make that public. Post. I'm going to put that right next to there. All right. I may try to pull another piece of information just to save my classmates time because ultimately I'm going to use this share function to send to my classmates using the Symbaloo. All right. So let's see, what's another interesting? Ooh, 2 out of 3. Numbers are always good when I use debate, so let's take a look at this. It says attorney quality, con. Another a shocking 2 out of 3 death penalty convictions have been overturned on appeal because police and prosecutorial misconduct, as well as serious errors by incompetent court-appointed defense attorneys with little experience trying capital cases. So poor people are not getting competent attorneys. How can we contend that we provide an equal justice system under the law when we do not provide adequate representation of the poor in cases where the life hangs in the balance? We, Congress, must bear our share of responsibility for the deplorable situation. In short, while others like Governor Ryan in Illinois have recognized the flaws in the death penalty, Congress still just doesn't get it. The system is broken. This is John Conyers Jr., a Democrat of Michigan, hearing for the Innocent Protection Act before the Subcommittee on Crime of the Committee on Judiciary of the House of Representatives. So this is obviously a very passionate source. I'm concerned that he might be a little bit biased. This could be a passionate issue for him. But the other thing is a shocking 2 out of 3 are overturned by appeal. Now, I'm stating if somebody's going to give testimony to Congress, I don't think he's going to be lying, which in some cases is a crime that you could be tried for. So I'm going to trust that John Conyers Jr. is a reliable source here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go check it, but I would expect you to check it. So make sure if you've got a questionable piece of information that you're going back and you're checking and seeing if you can confirm that 2 out of 3 death penalty convictions have been overturned, and see if you can grab his source. Okay. So I found 2 pieces of information that I think are particularly relevant. What I want to do now is I want to share it. All right. And since we're not sharing to Twitter, Facebook, or Gmail, what we want is to get an annotated link. All right. And an annotated link is a special URL provided by Diigo that allows you to share the current web page complete with highlights and sticky notes to anyone. Copy the URL below and then press Control V. So I'm going to copy it. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to log into your Symbaloo account. We've already shared with you the pro-con debate resources. What you're going to do is you're going to find your topic and you're going to find your position. So I am anti-death penalty. Now I'm going to assume, just for the sake of instruction, that we're going to put a new icon. But what you do is you'd find one of your icons right here. Actually, I'm going to create one. Let's just create a new master mix. So you can see I've got my Symbaloo icon, death penalty against, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. It's going to take me to an open spot, and I'm going to create a icon. Let's see if I can go back to my Diigo, copy this link again, and I'm going to put it in Symbaloo. Copy, go back to Symbaloo, I'm going to add a tile. And I'm going to add a tile. See if we'll, might not give a top 10 pros and cons. I'm going to put con death penalty ProQuest. So that way, try to be as accurate as possible with the website, so that way your classmates are not doubling back to a website you've already gone to. So that way there's as few redundancy as possible. I'm going to put a unique icon on there. Let's see. Just put a king. And now my classmates can see it and have access to it. So I'm going to open up this link. If it worked right. There's my highlights. They can see my sticky note. And they can see my 2 highlights. And that is all. So any questions, email me, but I think this is pretty straightforward. And good luck.